Good morning to you everyone, hope it's a day Harry. Welcome to the drive doon. The sun is out, hopefully it stays sunny all day. I've got a long drive doon to London. Obviously I'm staying in Boreham Wood. I've got the dog with us. Before anybody asks, he's tied up, he's on his seatbelt, it's perfectly legal. Right, that's that out the way. So Arsenal today, obviously we've won them 3 times already this season, which is class. I'm on my way to just get fueled up and then we're heading straight doon back on the A1. So if we can make it 4 out of 4, that would basically Newcastle could leapfrog and go into second place, which is madness, isn't it? It's mad, that, isn't it? But obviously we've seen on Friday that a lot of results didn't go Newcastle's way. Villa have won, Chelsea have won, which just makes that really, really tight. Chelsea do play Nottingham Forest on the last game of the season. Just speaking on Chelsea as well, if they go on and win the Conference League, 8th place can still qualify for Europe. Obviously we knew that Palace, fair play to Crystal Palace. Imagine that, Palace and Newcastle winning the domestic cups in the season. What would be the odds on that? Incredible. So well done Palace beating Man City. Class that. So that's the only way 8th place can qualify, but that's got out day first now because we're guaranteed top 7, potentially top 6 if we win later today. Top 5 potentially as well, even going into the last game of the season because of goal difference. So yeah, Newcastle will be there effectively. If we get a point today, it's alright. It does leave it in our own hands against Everton, but you just didn't want that. You want the last game of the season ideally to be a game that you just celebrate the fact that you are in Europe. I mean, that sun's bright. So, because that Jordan Pickford's going to come to town, probably end up having a worldie, won't he? Look, Kieran Trippier is out of the game. He's not going to feature. Jamal Lascelles will be back on the bench. He did play 45 minutes against Celtic's reserves in midweek, so he'll be back on the bench. Eddie Howe's already said that. Sven Botman will be assessed very, very late, but if Botman doesn't make it, does Emil Kraft just come in for him and move Shea to the centre of the 3 and keep Jacob Murphy as a right wing back, or did you just go flat back forward, Tino Livramento left back, Dan Burn, Fabian Shea, and then Emil Kraft or Jacob Murphy, one of the two, probably Kraft, and push Murphy further forward. We are a little bit stretched at the minute in terms of injuries. They're all starting to come at the minute. Obviously no Joelinton either. So our Lewis Hall's out. Got a few injuries. So that hits our squad depth a lot more than it would say in Arsenal. Obviously Mikel Arteta, you can tell by the thumbnail, little crybaby every time he plays Newcastle. We've got out against Arsenal fans. So we've got some very respectable Arsenal fans. A couple of delusional ones, mate. But as a fan base, you get a lot of stick because of the loudmouth stereotypes that are on social media give their fan base a bad reputation. But look, they were obviously flying in the Champions League, and obviously they'll want to come and put a nail in Newcastle's coffin because effectively they've still got something to play for. They're not guaranteed top 5 yet because of the teams winning on Friday. Arsenal lose against us. It's nervy for them going into the last game of the season. Imagine that, if they didn't qualify for Champions League and blow it all away. Arteta's only won 1 trophy in 5 years? You'll expect him to win some trophies because I think he's under pressure a little bit come next season. But look, going back to Newcastle then. So that's the small injury crisis, if you want to call it that, at the back. Haven't got a natural left back. We're having to play a right back out of position. But I think it'll be the same midfield 3. Joe Willock, will he get back and play against his former side? It's a tough one. Obviously, I know we've won 3-3. We won there early in the season, and that was a good night down in the Emirates where we won 2-0. I'm staying in Boreham Wood, literally ironically next to where Arsenal women play, next to Elstree Studios. So I'll be down there with this little guy for a couple of nights as I'm working down there before I leave that role. So, off at a point, the positives are that we've got it in our own hands going into the last game of the season. Even if we get beat, we'll still have it in our own hands, really. So I don't think a point really does anything. However, if we win, the scenes in that away end are going to be class. Absolute class. Are you going to let me in, or are you going to have to slow down because you want to undertake me, even though I'm doing the legal limit? So anyways, a win would absolutely send that away. It'll be class, man. I cannot wait. It'll be absolute class. Cannot wait to get into there, get into Arsenal. Last away game of the season, last trip to London for a few months. Thank the Lord. Everybody knows me. I'm not a big fan of London. It's the city I despise going to. I hate it with a passion. But it is what it is. There's so many teams in the Premier League and the women's as well. There's a few trips in there too. But look, I'm down there on my own. I've got the match reaction got scoring the players. I'm going to do the last word back at the hotel, so stay tuned for that, and I might even do a live the next morning as well. So we're close to filling up for fuel now, so I'm going to fuel up, get this tank full up, and then head due south for later on. Hopefully the weather stays nice. It looks lovely like. So yeah, I'll bring you all the videos later on. Obviously the big talking point from Eddie Howe, which I have got as part of the video title, is that Eddie Howe dropped a bombshell. I wouldn't say, was it a bombshell? No, I'm exaggerating now. Eddie Howe has been dropping little snippets into the press conference, because Louise Taylor was asking about, do players not want to come to the North East? They like the Manchester and London life. I don't know why I would like London life, mind. But, you know, would players not come to Newcastle? Is it a myth? Yada, yada, yada. And Eddie Howe said, well, under restraints of PSR and what have you, probably. But we don't have that this summer. And that was the big, massive snippet. Even Keith Downey done a video on it. That's the big one that's come out of it. Eddie Howe has basically said he's the only one officially to say that they're under no PSR restrictions. I'm expecting Newcastle to have at least 150, at least, to play with. Not maximum, at least, to play with. And then, if they want to go and strengthen in January, are they keeping a little bit behind? Potentially. But that's not including any player sales as well, because we do need to get rid of the likes of Matt Targett, Vlachodimos, easy for me to say. There's just a two to name a few. There's one or two speculations that the likes of Sean Longstaff might go because he's not getting game time, etc, etc. But we'll say Callum Wilson on a free, do we need to get a striker? But I'm not turning this into a transfer video, but what Eddie Howe did say was very, very interesting, wasn't it? So as Wallace comes back to the front, we're going to fuel up, and I'm going to take him for a walk a couple of times on the way doing as well. But yeah, love yous and leave yous, and we'll see yous the need for all the videos. Take care everyone, see yous later on, bye.